Good morning, adventurers! Now, I know that most of you, when you think of Colorado, think of the mountains and the water and the amazing stuff that there is here. So today I'm doing just that. I stopped off this morning at this mountain park that is so beautiful. I am so excited. Maybe I had a little bit too much coffee this morning, but I'm gonna take a hike. Yesterday I made a kind of weird joke about a man named Louis Papa. Now, he apparently was this huge founder of this area, and this park is actually dedicated to him, which is what this says. I now feel kind of weird for making his bronze statue my best friend. But full circle. So today we're going to explore this amazing, beautiful mountain park that I have no words to describe how amazing it is. We're going to take a little trail over here across the bridge and find out what all we can see. Apparently there is a cabin here. Why? Why? I don't understand. Why? Unfortunately, I got over here and the cabin is right there, but they're doing some restoration, so we can't go over there and see it. So from a distance, it looks pretty cool. We're gonna honor their wishes and not go mess with it, because that would be bad. It feels so amazing outside right now. Like, words cannot describe, especially after getting snowed on like less than a week ago. Wow. Lunchtime, so I could have an excuse to sit at one of these tables, like with the water right there. This place is really nice. It's a great stop off, and I will have to mentally keep this one in mind for the next time I'm up here, because it's so pretty. I don't know about you, but this is what I think of when I think of Colorado. Right here, sitting on some rocks, enjoying these amazing, amazing views of the water. It's just gorgeous. And with it being about 65 degrees right now, it's the perfect weather to just bask and enjoy ourselves. This is an amazing place in here as well. You can actually have a fire and be covered. Look at this. It's a beautiful stone structure. It has lights. There's power here, so I'm assuming you could probably rent this. And it's just a really fun way to enjoy the great outdoors and the mountains around you. Now, there are two parking lots for this. I parked in the one way down there because I didn't know this one was here. But this one has something really interesting that I want to look at. So I'm going to cross over the bridge here, go check that out, and then have to double back. But that's okay. More views. Darn. Well, the cool thing is we came over here and we saw these huge things, which I and another person are assuming are some kind of generator. But that is an assumption, and I'm not sure. And there are no signs whatsoever, which is really weird. Normally, whenever you come upon something like this, especially at an organized park, they want to talk about its history because, well, it's a part of the fabric of the area you're in. However, today we will just make our assumptions because, well, no signs. There's also this little curious building over here, which I don't know what it is, and there's, again, no signs. So it turns out we can get a little bit closer. We can't go inside though, But this is the cabin right here, and they're working on restoring it. Everything from these new steps leading up to it to right now they have all of the windows covered. So they're working on all that so it can be accessible again for people to come in and out. It reminds me a lot of whenever I was in the Smoky Mountains. The cabins there were made in very similar fashion, and it just kind of makes sense. That was the style of the time. Anyway, so for now, you can't see it, but it's pretty cool to look at even from outside. There's actually like a little display board and then some benches right here, right next to the cabin. So I'm assuming they do some kind of tours or talks or something like that, like ranger talks. So I don't know, I would check it out. It's registered with the city of Loveland, so maybe Loveland has something on their website. I wouldn't know. I have zero service right now. Zero service from AT&T. Zero, go figure. Okay, before I left the park, I had to stop back by and finish reading what I started reading. And this explained the odd thing we saw on the other side over there. Now, let me just share with you. The weird thing that we saw was part of a hydroelectric power plant. So we weren't so far off in our assumption. This is why the kiosks are so important, y'all. I tell you every time, stop and you will learn, and yeah, we just learned. So one last tidbit before we head back to the car. This is where his original cabin actually was. And after they put in the hydroelectric power plant, they upgraded him over to the other cabin across the way, which was equipped with electricity, because he was still being able to stay on the land even after it was sold. Now, that's a pretty interesting little fact, and it's cool to see how the evolution of the entire process happened and to better understand the park that we're actually in. It has such a rich history, and you can only imagine all of this used to be his land where he would roam cattle, and he had horses. He was considered to be an expert horseman, and then after much time he just couldn't maintain it anymore because he'd gotten old, and so that's whenever the city worked with him and let him stay on the property. That's pretty amazing. Okay, that was a great stop. Now, let's see what else we can find on the way to Estes Park. There has to be something else, right? There has to be! Sure enough, right across the street is an awesome hiking trail. Now you can do one of two things. This one back here, which is the nature trail, or somewhere up here, there is a summit trail, and it's about 4 3/4 miles one way. So today I'm not gonna be doing that because, well, not trying to overexert myself just yet. I have something else planned to do that a little bit later on today. But I just thought this was really neat. I stopped by because I wanted to find out more about the restoration areas, and sure enough, this kiosk right here has tons of information as to what they're doing, their progress, and it was really awesome. But just take in this view. I want to sing the hills are alive with the sound of music. With that said, it's time to get back on this road. Along the roadside, there is this point of interest, so I had to stop because I'm trying to learn as much about this stretch of Highway 34 as I possibly can. And I stumbled upon this, which is Scott Ellis. Now, apparently in 2013, the river, which is right over this way, flooded really, really badly. In doing so, it really tore up the road, and 34 was in effect shut down. The governor issued a challenge to have the highway, because it was such a major vein, reopened within 2 months, which is crazy and unheard of. Scott was one of the guys who was really in charge of that project. As an engineer, he had a goal of really seeing this through, and just before it could be done, he actually succumbed to heart disease. So they wanted to erect this because he was such a major part of getting this particular section of 34 back up and going. And it's a really, really great honor to see. And it has his cycling on here as well, because he was a super avid cycler. So that's a pretty neat landmark, and I'm glad it stopped. There's something else right over here, so we're gonna go check that out too. Now this stop also is honoring some people who have contributed in a major way to the big Thompson area. These two officers right here actually gave their life helping to save people during a huge flood that happened in the 70s. And so they wanted to honor them right here because, again, the river that caused all the damage is right there. So apparently they were able to save a considerable amount of people, 140 to be exact, from this area before finally they lost their lives. So this is an interesting stop, and it might not be something that you necessarily want to see, but it's a huge piece of history of this area, so you should check it out just because. And yeah, so we're gonna press on down this road, which is 34.